Welcome to Equip, Daily Bible Studies. We're looking at Jesus' famous teaching on the hill from Matthew 5, 6, and 7. And now we are on chapter 6, where Jesus is talking about things that God rewards. And last time we saw, he said, when you give. And he talked about the attitude we should have towards giving. Now he's going to say, when you pray. And once again, he's talking about the attitude we should have towards prayer. So go ahead and turn in your paper Bible to Matthew 6, verses 5 to 8, or click the link in the description if you don't have one. There are two big lessons here that Jesus gives about our attitude toward prayer. First, he says, don't be like the hypocrites. What is that? Hypocrite is Jesus' favorite insult, and it's a word that means actor. This is someone who is trying to convince other people that they are godly or very spiritual when that's not the reality on the inside. He said people like this will pray loudly on street corners to get other people to listen to them. Dear Lord! He mentioned something similar in our bonus verses, so thanks for reading those, when he's talking about fasting. Fasting is when you go without something for a while in order to focus on God better. It's usually food. You go without food. And he said when these guys would do that, they would look as miserable as they can in order to get attention. Oh, can you guys believe how hungry I am? Jesus says instead we should go into our room and close the door and talk to God in private. Now, he isn't saying to never pray in front of other people. He's talking about our attitude. That if you're talking to God in private, what are you doing? You are being real with God. It's not about what anybody else sees, but you are having a real conversation with God. When we talk to God, we should think of him as actually being here with us, and we're talking to him right here. Imagine you're sitting with a friend and it's dead silent. But then anytime a third person walks by, you start talking to your friend again. Oh yeah, like I was saying, things are pretty... The third person's gone, back to silence. You only talk to them when there's someone else around to listen. That would be a weird relationship, wouldn't it? Well, I think sometimes we have a weird relationship with God, where we're only talking to him when others are around listening. If you relate with that, if you're like, I don't really talk to God by myself, the point is not to feel bad. The point is to remember what it says there in verse 6, that if you do talk to God, if you're being real with God, he will reward you. He is eager to hear from you because he loves you. So the first lesson is to be real with God. The second lesson is in verses 7 and 8. He says, don't babble on and just repeat things without even thinking about what you're saying. What would it say about God if he just wanted us to repeat things over and over and over again like we're chanting to him or something? God bless me, 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 God bless me. If we do that, what does that show that we think about God? Do we really think he's some kind of magical force that you have to say the right words the right number of times to get something out of? Or do we think of him as like not paying attention and we have to get his attention by repeating ourselves? Or do we think of him as greedy and he's holding back good things from us, but then he's listening to us pray. He's like, okay, 97, 98, 99, all right, here's your blessing. None of those things describe God, and that's Jesus' point. And this is our second lesson, that when we pray, we should talk to the real God. That means remembering what he's really like things in this passage, like he's a rewarder of people who talk to him. So we don't need to mope and be like, oh God, I know you don't want to hear from me because I haven't talked to you in so long. Just turn to him and he'll reward you. That's what he's really like. The other thing it mentions in verse 8 is that he knows everything. We should remember that when we talk to him. He knows what we're about to say before we say it. So what do you say to someone who knows what you're about to say before you say it? Well, you can just tell them what's on your heart, for one. And for two, we're going to see tomorrow that Jesus says, pray like this. To bring it all together, Jesus is saying when we pray, we should be real and talk to the real God. So tomorrow we'll see what that looks like more specifically. So until then, be strong in grace.